Long day. What a day. Actually, a very long day. You've seen what has been happening during the day. Nelson Chamisa giving out his statement. But here's the thing. There's an issue of SADC. I mean, who doesn't know how we have traced or exhausted the subject here on our show? Very interesting that still, there are speculations that SADC is going to facilitate the dialogue. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to be pursuing right now. Also, we need to hear what Chamisa has to say in his statement. Can I tell you, social media is ablaze. People are having discussions that some of them are scrutinizing Chamisa. I don't want to lie, there was something that really disappointed me today. There was a lady who literally swore at Nelson Chamisa with so much rage and anger that we want people to take action. They're expecting protests. And those kind of people, where they are? Overseas. And they are pushing people in Zimbabwe to protest. And I'm like, no, just come down and then you can lead the protest. All right, so before we move into the details of everything here, I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. If it's your first time, make sure that you ring the bell so that every time I'm live, you'll be notified immediately. I'm going to ask you guys to like the live so that we push algorithm, inviting everyone to the conversation. This is a very important conversation that we need to have tonight. Very, very important. I send out some shout out to James, Ambassador of Peace. Good to see y'all. Thank you so much for coming through. And please don't ever, forget to share the live with everyone else, because we need to start conversing. We have a very important, issue that is really, 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 need our attention. And you and I, we should all come together so we can have a conversation now. Quickly. You all know that SADC is actually made up of a lot of people. That's why SADC has been facing a lot of scrutiny. I speak from Zimbabwe and say, hey, there seems to be like a gang up of liberation heroes who don't really care about how we feel and what we expect. But something very unique people are forgetting is that we have Hakainde Hichilema, literally the leader of the Troika, came from Zambia. And you know that Zambia kind of sharing the same similarities with Zimbabwe of having, the liberation heroes holding on to power. Don't forget what happened with Lungu as well, now that we have a new leader. So Hakainde Hichilema had an incredible interview with Chatham House, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And he spoke about how they should look at at really, really promoting democracy in Africa, especially Southern Africa, rather than allowing the military junta, to take over and cause a lot of chaos like what we are facing right now in Zimbabwe. Right. So I'm going to let you guys listen to Hakainde Hichilema. Incredible submissions. Again, because it's going to be part and parcel of the people that are coming into the summit. I really think that it's not going to be easy for President Mnangagwa to actually be able to assume the position of chairmanship without resolving, the illegitimacy that is hanging on his backdrop. And you also remember that Kasugure made it clear and say it's going to be difficult for ED or for Mnangagwa to really get the respect that he deserves, because there's this call for illegitimacy. We tend to the left illegitimacy, to the right illegitimacy. Even as we speak, we're still talking about the illegitimacy that happened last year. With all that went down, we are still discussing his legitimacy. So I want you to take a listen to Hakainde Hichilema, please, speaking, to an interviewer from BBC and saying, what we are focusing on in the SADC space is to really promote democracy. Please take a listen.
First, it's a believing in democracy that is a better governance system than autocratic governments, than heavy-handed governments, as we experienced it in Zambia in the last 10 years. Brutal. People being killed around the issues of competition to serve the people. We believe that democracy is a better system, a rule of law, respect for human rights, liberties, and freedom, private property, public property, respect for governance, good governance, that we must not steal from the people we serve. Corruption is unacceptable. Institutional strengthening, so that the day you don't have a good leader, like we had a situation just 4 months ago, the institutions will restrain them, strong institutions, judicial, best institutions, oversight institutions, professional police, parliament, legislature that can curtail the excesses of the so-called big men syndrome in Africa. So institutional building is very important. But it's anchored on the belief that democracy is a more superior system of governance than the alternatives. Those alternatives, let alone military coups. Africa does not need military coups. Africa does not need violence, does not need bullets, does not need tear gas. What it needs is education for our young people, skills. What it needs is jobs for those who have completed school. What it needs is business opportunities for our women, for our youth, for those that live with disabilities. To support the health services delivery that works for the people. To support, I talked about education already, but to support social support for those who really deserve it, who for one reason or the other are unable to fend for themselves. They must get the support from the government, a functioning government, but that can only happen if the economy is functional. If the economy is deliric, it's dysfunctional, you deliver nothing for anybody. And I believe democracy allows us to enterprise, yet responsible for and to those that are less privileged, the sick, the old, the orphans. All of those would benefit from a democratic system, and we must sustain democracy on this continent. We've had too much militarism. We've had too much authoritarianism. This generation, your generation, supported by us, must consolidate democracy on this continent. Zambia is a good example. Even when leaders have attempted to be autocratic, like the one that has exited, the Zambian people rose to say no. You know, there was no democratic space. We couldn't campaign as we wished. But still the people of Zambia said, no. We don't want this heavy-handedness. We want a different leadership. We are here. And our duty is to work for the people of Zambia and not let them down. So I say this to other countries, that we must share these common values. We must, just for the sake of humanity, for the sake of decency, for the sake of our children and their children, we need to enhance the democratic culture. Choices without violence. The voters must decide who runs the country, not those who count votes. We saw that in 2015 and 2016, and we planned for it in 2021 to make sure that he or she who counted the votes in 2021 had no chance to alter the decision of the people. And that's why we delivered the landslide, planned, orchestrated, 2, protected the vote. 3, now we're in a position of service to the people. 2 approaches. 1, to reunite the country, which was divided, again, because of autocratic behavior, marginalization, exclusions. We're working on unity, inclusion, right? Opportunity. That's the beauty of democracy. And I think the global community, Africa and the global community, those of us who believe in these values, must work together to entrench them, to grow them. 2, we're working on the economy. Once we resuscitate the economy, we deal with issues that challenge us, debt, corruption, the need to focus on trade and investment. Then we can offer, once we grow this, we can offer opportunity. Where I started this conversation, opportunity for our people, education, health, jobs, business. That's it. This is the story. But this is only possible if we retain and grow and protect democracy on our continent.
I can only imagine. You can hear Hichilema speaking. It's very clear and direct that we need to promote democracy. We need to do away with the military junta because their leadership caused a lot of chaos. And we can see, I mean, it's because now there's a lot of people who are not taking advantage of that. And as far as Zimbabwean context is concerned, it flabbergasts me because whenever people say it's the military junta, I'm like, when I look at the armies are all suffering, majority of them are suffering. So what military junta are you referring to? You know, or they're hiding behind maybe the big boys. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know. But now on social media today, people is gun blazing. They are saying this election for South Africa will free Zimbabwe. Because remember that it's going to be harder for ANC to actually be able to get outright victory. It's not possible because the opposition parties are very strong and they're coming forcibly. Young people no longer want the leadership of ANC alone. So now, I want to read this tweet that was sent out by Ali. He said, Ian Smith's regime in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe was sustained by the apartheid government. The same manner ZANU-PF has been sustained by the ANC government. Cut the umbilical cord now, because if you want our people to leave your country, like you always say, they must go back to Zimbabwe, then please leave us alone. Let us have the leadership of a choice. Why do you keep on peddling in our elections? You've heard Balula is on record, bastardizing or chastising Chamisa that he's actually an American puppet. So when are you going to let us make a choice that suits our people? You know, those are the calls on social media now, that your freedom is around the corner. Because the moment ANC loses the power, then you know Zimbabwe is free. They are holding us at ransom. You have heard Tenebi is on record confirming that almost 70% of our gold is being refined in South Africa. He talks about the lithium as well. Now my question I have is, with all the money that we claiming that we are losing every year, almost 1.8 billion, that the Zakia chairperson, she's on record confirming. What would we do if we could refine our gold in Zimbabwe? Why are we supposed to refine it in South Africa? And who is standing to benefit from there? No wonder why their friendship is very, you can't understand it. It doesn't just make sense. It's just weird. It is weird. I also hate Botswana as well. I told you during the day that Massis won, Ian, the Ian Kama, it says he won Massis out. He has ruined Botswana. I guess there's this move of change that is coming up and it's so thick. It is intense. I pray that it just cannot leave the Zimbabweans alone. Zimbabweans have to see the freedom. So coming up to the issue of SADC, let's see where this is going. Some people are saying they are not going to assist. And I'm saying, guys, give them a chance, okay? Did you notice something quite interesting? There is a secretary for SADC. We have been really gallivanting in Zimbabwe. He is in the country and he's supposed to discuss very important issues. But you can see him, just focusing on dining with ZANU-PF. And, I love the fact that, Koma, he had an incredible interview with Gambakwe and mentioned the same thing, that the guy should be focusing on, talking about the illegitimacy and the flawed election. But no, he's busy gallivanting. You know how it is. And allegations on social media also from Ali saying there are people that are being paid to literally suppress the voices of SADC. Within the camps. And we've heard many times those allegations, and we don't know how strong they are. But like I said, I trust Ali most of the times when he drops something, he means it. Last year, he dropped the issue of Wiknoshiva, that he had been given a tender to actually supply ballot paper with all the chaos that you saw. And today, the news works has come with the same reports and with confirmation that 40 million was paid to actually Wiknoshiva to deliver ballot paper. I'm saying 40 million US dollars. Just calculate that in rands, how much that is. And with the chaos that happened on the elected date, what are you saying, yo? Gwanda solar panel, all this styling thing, the allegations again, they're just doing it as it's pleased. And I'm so worried about this brother. He's so young. I can only imagine what's going to happen. So, then they went on to say it will take a functional Zimbabwe to solve immigration problems in the region. No amount of hate and social media promises to build walls, border guards, etc. will cut it. Is that simple? When Zimbabwe is fine, our people don't have to flood in South Africa. They really don't, because South Africans are calling out, no, foreigners must leave. But no, let ANC leave Zimbabweans alone. And then everything will settle. Zimbabwe don't want to be in foreign lands. They want to be home. I've met a lot of people saying, I just want to go back home. I want to be free. I want to be next to my people. That's all what we are calling for. So please, let us make decisions for ourselves. Now that we are here, because the most important part that we need to pursue is actually Nelson Chamisa's statement. Oh God, it has been a long day. Can I tell you, there's 2 meetings as we speak right now. Since I think around 12, if I'm not mistaken. That meeting is still on X. People discussing Chamisa's statement. Some are saying he's too lenient with ZANU-PF. You know, he must come with a strong force. They believe him to say, let's go to the streets. But I want you to take a listen to his statement, because that's very important. Because one thing of hearing things, we need to have a conversation. That's why I'm asking you to give your own insights on that issue. It's a very important one. What do you think about Chamisa's statement? Because we are all waiting for him to break the silence, and he did, finally. So we're going to be listening to his statement that he actually dropped during the day. Very important points that he brought. But at the same time, I'm sure he's very much welcome to criticism as well. Because some people are saying, no, we need action. We need action and we need it now. But let's take a listen to his statement, please. Go ahead.
Members of the press corps, I want to thank you for coming to this press conference at a very short notice. This presser is meant to be an update on the resolution of the disputed August elections 2023. As you may be aware, this is an address to you all as our stakeholders, fellow citizens, and I must say that I've prepared this brief statement to update you on the efforts around the resolution of the disputed outcome of 2023 general elections that did not produce a credible and legitimate government chosen by the citizens of Zimbabwe. As you are aware, following the shambolic and disputed illegal August 2023 elections, we held nationwide consultations with you, the citizens, and all of you, including other relevant stakeholders, were consulted on the ways and means to resolve the electoral fraud and the disputed election. You, citizens, the citizens of Zimbabwe, were very clear and very firm on the position that conducted, indeterminate, distorted, and manipulated outcome. This position is and was supported by SADC, the African Union, the European Union, the Commonwealth, Chamisa, the Carter Center, and all other intergovernmental organizations which displayed a clear derision out of the way and manner in which the elections were conducted. All those who deployed their election observer missions to Zimbabwe had a common view. And what is clear is that there is no election in history, particularly in this country, that has invited resounding and universal condemnation as we have seen during the August 2023 elections. This matter must be resolved. This matter must be fixed. There can never be a proper government without proper elections. There can never be a proper government without proper national processes that have the credibility and endorsement of the citizens of Zimbabwe. Fellow citizens, as your presidential choice, you, in your millions, nearly over 2 million, gave a clear mandate, albeit in a very disputed and contested election. And that mandate cannot be repudiated, abdicated, abandoned, or squandered. I'm clear that upon this mandate, and with your mandate, on the 26th of September 2023, we wrote to our regional board, SADC, the guarantor of the values and principles and aspirations of the common agenda and common will of the people of Southern Africa. On the 23rd of October 2023, SADC responded to our request and advised that they will give the matter due consideration through the relevant organs. Meanwhile, we noted that various meetings have since been conducted by the leadership of SADC at various levels, in particular the latest extraordinary summit in the organ Troika on the 23rd of March 2024 in Lusaka, Zambia. It is because of this that we have been waiting advisedly, patiently on our request. On the 29th of April this year, 2024, because considerable time had elapsed, I wrote again to SADC on this matter, delivered a follow-up letter to SADC. We await that response to determine a clear path forward to resolve the governance crisis and the leadership dispute that is in the country. What is clear is that the request to SADC is not a measure in desperation, but is and remains very simple. That as a regional body, which Zimbabwe signed up to in terms of membership and some vested authority as a supranational organization, we require their facilitation to resolve the issues around irregular and disputed elections. The problem of manipulated elections have produced far many problems, particularly a government that is without a mandate and a government that has since culminated into high levels of intolerance, violations, repression, illegal recalls of citizen representatives, even representatives in a disputed election. In itself, an unprecedented move and an encyclopedic infraction of democratic tenets. We have seen unlawful arrests, persecution of citizens upon all kinds of archaic, intimidatory, and suppressive manifestation, in themselves a clear indication of the lack of mandate. It is common knowledge that our country is facing a plethora of challenges and problems. Most of them are basic and symptomatic of bad governance, broken politics, and a disputed leadership. We are suffering from a tanking economy, systematic corruption, population living in extreme poverty, almost 49% of the population, man being looted, almost 1.8 billion in terms of the latest statistics being looted annually, 100 million worth of gold being smuggled monthly, galloping hyperinflation, half of the population being food insecure, and over 3 million Zimbabweans being forced to migrate, with almost over 89% facing unemployment. And this is all because of disputed national processes and national elections. Only a legitimate government chosen by the people of Zimbabwe and the citizens of Zimbabwe has the mandate and confidence to deliver on the necessities and demands of the nation and the public. You voted for a government of your choice that would deliver healthcare, energy, water, jobs, stable currency, quality education, and other basic services. You know why you voted for change. The current challenges that we are facing are failing to resolve the huge national debts, high inflation, currency distortions, drought, starvation, poverty, poor income, a hostile political environment, and of course an air of sadness and brain drain that are all symptoms of a government without a proper mandate. Zimbabwe's challenges are a direct result of the lack of legitimacy and mandate to govern. A truly elected citizen government is the solution to our governance deficits and the desire and necessity of service delivery in our country. We reiterate, as I do, that this point has been made to SADC, the AU, and indeed the international community, that it is untied and untenable to sanitize and fertilize theft of elections and electoral malpractices by turning a deaf ear and casting a blind eye to matters of gigantic electoral fraud, such as we have seen, in itself an affront to the Africa we want. As you are aware, elections are the highest level through which the mandate is attained and ascertained as a contract between the governing and the governed. No government can justly claim authority to govern unless it is based on the will and consent of the citizens and the people. On that score, none must be allowed to come through to office through the back door, through the window, or coercive means or command antics and tactics, as we have seen in Zimbabwe. Our regional and international institutions are guarantors and custodians of the integrity of institutions, but also integrity of processes, and cannot condemn the process that they've condemned. SADC condemned the process, the AU condemned the process, and therefore condemning it is clearly untenable. And of course, we don't expect them to ultimately endorse a sham and a fraud. It will be a contradiction in terms to determine a process flawed and yet condone its outcome. Fellow citizens, may I hasten to say, the following measures that we have made are in themselves our deliberate effort and desire to exhaust available remedies domestically and regionally and continentally. There's a peaceful way and means to resolve the national issues, which in itself is not a manifestation of a weakness. We are doing this not because we are devoid of any other means or ways or other ideas. It is strictly because we are committed to finding each other as a nation and amicably resolving our points of conflict, disjuncture, and disagreement. We have committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes and also are intended on making sure that we exhaust all those available peaceful remedies. As you are aware, millions of you agree with this approach. Zimbabwe is too beautiful and precious to be destroyed by flames of political disputes under our watch. We don't want to be the authors of the demise of this great nation. Peace is fragile. Peace is sacrosanct. And as you know, there's no peace in our homes. There's no peace in our communities. And there's no peace in our nation. This is why you have over 3 million Zimbabweans who have already flocked out of the country on account of the absence of this peace. But whatever is remaining of that peace needs to be protected. And that breakdown of peace, which is the ultimate result of the recklessness of those in leadership, knows no winner. The opposite of peace leaves all of us losers. Our beautiful country cannot and can never progress on the back of disunity, division, and successive disputed national processes, including contested elections. We are acutely aware of the urgency of this matter, and more importantly, that there can never be a talk of 2028 or a viable or stable future for this country without resolving the August 2023, the broken past, and this era and spate of disputed politics. A lot of you have asked, are we going to wait for 2028? No. 2028 is not a date in mind because 2023 has not been resolved. And what we must fix is to fix 2023 and not to wait for 2028. Measures have been put in place and are being put in place to make sure that we secure the victory that the people would want to see and a credible government that people want to see. On my part, I'm doing everything necessary to the extent of God's will to seek a lasting solution to the perennial challenges affecting our beloved country. Locally and internationally, I have engaged all the stakeholders, including our traditional leadership, the business community, civil society at large, political parties, other political parties, and members of the diplomatic corps. In particular, I've also sought the mediatory role of the church. I've tried to engage the church leadership in their various representative organizations to try and help us resolve disputed elections and contested national processes, albeit with handicapped progress. I've even numerously efforted to engage with other parties, in particular with the presidential contender, the leader of ZANU-PF. He's aware of our point of dispute. I've raised this with him. I've even gone further to give a proposed way forward to resolve the issues that are affecting our country. I can tell you that our point of dispute is clear. It is a disputed election, and that is the center and the basis, the foundation of all our problems. And we have proposed a clear way forward And we have also developed and shared that roadmap with all other key stakeholders, which paper we are ready to share and make public in due course. It's a very clear and practical way of resolving our challenges. Because what this nation needs is leadership. And what this nation has had are party leaders and not national leaders. We need national leaders. And that's why my focus has not been parties, but the nation. I'm available as a national leader, but I'm not available for partisan politics. We have engaged different stakeholders within SADC as a region, particularly the trade unions within SADC, the civil society, but more importantly, at heads of state level, I have engaged leaders, various heads of state, through delegations I have dispatched into the various capitals of our region and the continent to brief the esteemed excellencies about the dispute in the country, election dispute, the political stalemate, and our proposed way forward. And I must reiterate that the point I made to them is that we acknowledge that there is a de facto government, but the de facto government is not a legitimate government. It is a caretaker government. There is a de facto parliament, and the de facto parliament is not the de jure parliament, but a caretaker parliament. So is the local authorities. So whatever we have are placeholders, but we need a proper mandate from the citizens of Zimbabwe to have a proper government, a position that they've understood and appreciated. I therefore urge you, fellow citizens, having said what I've said, as a brief and update, to take an active role in the peaceful determination of the destiny of our country. I exhort you and encourage you, fellow citizens, the intercessors who have been praying for this great nation, the church, to continue to pray for that smooth and peaceful transition in the country. And it is inevitable. It is nigh.
Agreed.
Stay course, stay the course, hold the fort, hold fast. Stand involved and stand ready. Change is upon us. God bless you, Zimbabwe. God bless you, fellow citizens. I thank you.
You're listening to the president speaking. Yeah, my heart, I'm like, damn, this the president is speaking literally, Wow, what a powerful presser. Like I said, different reactions, honestly. Some people are saying we're still pushing for the protests. People want to get to the streets, but I want to read these few tweets quickly. They are so important. First one, again from Alinaka. Let me tell you, Ali is very connected to the real big fish in ZANU-PF. So when he says something, he means it. And because, remember, whatever that's going on in the country, beat corruption, is being done by human beings. And they're not doing it alone. There are other people who are watching. There are people who are recording. Watch it in Zimbabwe. But let me tell you, people are going to pay it so badly, unfortunately, So he said he said if immigration is a major concern for you, because people on social media are saying, you know what, they are having a problem with the fact that EFF is great, but we can't vote because they're supporting the issue of, okay, we are an African community, we must love each other. But at the same time, the pushbacks are, but Zimbabwe's got problem because of ANC. So if you want to vote ANC, it means you want more problems from the Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe then is stuck. So he said, vote for a party which help bring change in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, under a new government, will welcome back 80% of the skilled manpower and millions in the diaspora. This thing of building walls is a pub talk. Africa needs a functional Zimbabwe. Again, that's Ali dropping those tweets. He went on to say, a party which will tell ZANU-PF to stop the madness in Zimbabwe will solve the immigration issues in South Africa without saying a brick to build the wall. I don't know, some people maybe they're alleging that they need to build a wall. Are we not Mexico? Like the Americans want to build a wall? Very interesting there. And he went to say, why would ZANU-PF, allegations of ZANU-PF invested millions, in this election in South Africa to ANC. The stakes are very high. Why did they do that? I told you the issue of 70% of our gold is being refined in South Africa. Now the question is, who's stand to benefit from there? You heard Tenebi mentioning that only, when he had an interview with HSTV, and he also spoke on another platform as well, if I'm not mistaken. Now, other tweet, it says ZANU-PF is terrified, sort of petrified about the SA elections. They've been having meltdowns all week. Ask yourself why. It's because they know that the moment ANC loses power, that's the end of them. They are naked. They have nowhere to go, and people are going to be arrested for corruption. So yeah, solving the political problem in Zimbabwe will solve the immigration issues in the region. It's just as basic as that. And this is why we keep on saying to South Africans, please, please, give us an opportunity to do what we want to do, okay? And everything will fall flat, right? So, and also allegations that ZANU-PF has been paying off politicians in South Africa. And he said, can I have the names? Like I said, I know very soon we'll know who are the politicians that are being paid to literally cover up all the nonsense that's going on there. That's why I mentioned the secretary for SADC that was in town, and I heard different, commentators saying, we don't understand why he was more focusing on the issue of kind of touring Zimbabwe rather than having the real discussions at hand. Can SADC still be accommodating Zimbabwe being taking chairmanship, considering the backdrop of illegitimacy that is hanging on the president, Emerson Mnangagwa, and which is quite very, yeah. Very interesting days ahead. Very interesting days ahead. Not that because people are calling, calling for a protest. Like I said, the moment Chamisa finished with this presser, a lot of reactions, and majority were like, "We're on action now." I also had, someone actually get to a point where she had to swear at Nelson Chamisa because she was in a rage. But this one I'm going to say, there's no reason of swearing someone's husband. He's a married man. You swear on my husband, I'm coming for you. You don't do nothing because you swear at my husband, you swear at me out. I don't play no games. You mess up with my man, I'm in. Like, if you're a woman, I'm like, you know where to draw the line. You don't cross some lines, you don't cross. But people are so angry to a point where they actually to swear at Nelson Chamisa. That's how angry people are. But I did not rebuke you. I think I will do so soon. Now, Dr. Walter Muzembe is actually trying to define that the problem about Zimbabwe is Zimbabwe keeps on accusing those who want to protest that they will be having a violent demonstration. But there are two types of protest. That's what he's saying. Two types: violent protest and also peaceful protest. Why is ZANU-PF so afraid of peaceful protests? Let me tell you what. President Emerson Mnangagwa, it is to his advantage. And I'm going to explain to you why. There's quite a number of corrupt ministers in Zimbabwe who are hiding behind the president is getting younger. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, because now you can't be in touch with so many things. We've seen it online. We've seen him confirming, asking a question, do we even have a train from Harare to Bulawayo? And nobody was answering. We said, oh, yeah, I have to check that. It means that ministers just don't even tell the truth to the president. You know why? They're taking advantage of him. So protests are important because then you get to know, oh, this man is sitting on his work, or there's corruption that happened at the corner. You know what I mean? And begin to resolve issues. So protests are good. I'm not talking about violent protests. I'm saying peaceful protests when people have to say, there's a challenge here. Something isn't working. What can we do to resolve issues? It is to the benefits of leaders. So I don't know why they are stopping it. I do not understand why. Okay, so I'm going to read the tweet for Dr. Walter Muzembe. He said, the right to protest is a universal human right. It does not necessarily mean inflicting violence and destruction to human life or property. When it does, it's called violent protest. When it doesn't, it's called peaceful protest. The Zimbabwean definition seems to refer to violent protest as the national definition, and it is simply not correct to psyche a people this way, whether spoken or by government or opposition. These soft contradictions are not desirable and undermine the Bill of Rights, which makes sense. Zimbabweans need to protest. There's no reason why they need to block people from protesting. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Because you can see now that I think I actually agree with what Mumiz was said today, this morning on X. You mentioned that in 2008, right? No, 2008, when violence was went like hell in Zimbabwe, people were asking questions. Who sent you to go and do violence? He was still so much entrenched in ZANU-PF. He said, I remember this question being asked. They just say, when I shift guns, who? It means there are people who are deranged in the country. They get a $50, they go in to hurt innocent people. It's the community and the society that is actually very much broken, that needs to be sorted. You know what I mean? That needs to be sorted. So It's not always about violence. And I really think corrupt politicians, corrupt ministers and members of parliaments, and any other corrupt individual are behind all these blocking citizens to protest, because they know that they're going to be exposed because of their shenanigans. But however, how long are you going to hide, brothers and sisters? How long are you going to hide? So let's see where this is going, because I'm sure what Chamisa have said, like personally, I want to follow the process, because my desire is to see Zimbabwe becoming one. Because I think we are so divided that we need to do away with parties and politics. Especially say I belong to this one. Here, Asingari Zimbabwe. Those kind of music should be banned. But I don't know why the president can't do anything about it, because it's not right. No one should be chased out of the country, because we are all Zimbabweans and we all matter. And we are very important, all of us. So for people to sing and say, Asingari Zimbabwe, as if we are not important, that is the highest level of evil that anyone can allow, unfortunately. It has to be stopped by any sane human being. Should say this kind of music, not in our quarters, not in our backyard. This is not allowed. That's what I'm expecting. And allowing the right energy to flow in the country, the energy of unity, of love. I can see President Mnangagwa making strides in trying to pull citizens in. But again, because he's very good at hoodwinking people. He did in 2017. So now, I mean, so we are very wise now. You know, you're going to play me once, not twice, y'all. You know what I mean? Yes. Zimbabweans are wiser now. Very much at work, right? So he's kind of trying, like he's pulling citizens in. But we all know what the goal is, so we can endorse 2030 mantra. I'm not going to be one of the people who endorse it. Reason is, I think it's time for us to cut an umbilical cord with ZANU-PF. We don't want to be part of their drama. We are sick and tired. We want a functioning nation. A nation for all. All right, so moving on. You've seen how much I hate poverty with passion. You know, there is an issue of, Nevo Muchangwa, again. That's another story that is quite very sad. You know, guys, as much as I don't really, I never agree with what Muchangwa has been doing. Again, I just want to say to Nchanakira, I just want to, you know, respect and serve the God that you serve, because I remember when he was so rude towards you and how life is turned out for you, and you went quiet, which was incredible. And I know you went to God and pray, and Trevor, they just said, we can't deal with this man. But now you want our sympathy, right? But because we, you know what, I'm not an evil person, I'm going to extend sympathy to you. I don't find any reason why we are in this mess with the Nevo Muchangwa thing. But again, there are infights within ZANU-PF. People are saying, let it boil, let it boil. We have told them to say, let's build a society that is normal. Especially Mr. Muchangwa, I hope you're going to listen to this video, sir, because I know it's going to circulate in Zimbabwe. So, sir, remember when we were telling you what's going on in the country is not right. We were trying to say, can we respect the rule of law? Can we have a stable, judiciary? Can we have a stable police, a stable, just like our institutions, can they be revamped in respecting the rights of citizens? And you are at the forefront saying, you guys must take the arms and fight like the way that we did to Smith. Do you recall that? Now you see what happens when we allow the devil to actually, build his camp in our hood. Look now, he's now in your house. Once he was in the neighborhood, now he's in your house. Please, let's all work together and make sure that we do what's right. So I really sympathize with him that now, after all this, not much of waiting, because I know that Askala stood there for too long, but I said, because we are trying to revamp our society and say, right is right, wrong is wrong, notwithstanding who is receiving the punches. You may not belong to my political party, but at the end of the day, it's about what is the rule of law says. Because the judge, it says, is being threatened. According to the allegations here, so he's now recused himself from the matter that he was called. People are saying he was called, at the State House. So he said, no, I can't do it. So the Crime Watch is reporting that the judge quits Nevo Muchangwa's case after being summoned to the State House. And who at the State House, we know that's where the president stays. They said the judge dropped the case of Nevo Muchangwa, the son of Women Affairs Minister Morgan Muchangwa, and the ZANU-PF spokesperson Chris Muchangwa, after she was summoned to State House to explain delays in the case. Okay, to explain delays in the case. All right. Huh? Okay. That's interesting. Now she's recusing herself now. All right. And I also heard during the day that Mnangagwa said, no, let the justice take its course. I think for those that actually watch the video, you're more than welcome to do so in the video section. You see the one that is written, a night of long knives, you know. So the Justice Muremba of the High Court was due to deliver judgment in Mnangagwa's bail today after postponing ruling last week because she had not received a full record of proceedings from the lower court. But in a dramatic development, the judge said she was standing down from the matter. I'm recusing myself for personal reasons, the judge said on Monday. The matter will now be allocated to a different judge, so which again can just speak to the infights within the ZANU-PF parameters. And again, because I don't want to spend my time on this, because I mean, they know I've been very clear on, if you allow evil in the courts, like I'm talking the court of, like when I say in the court, I mean to say if you allow evil in life, that's what happens. There won't be no peace in the camp unless when we follow principles, it makes life so easy. When right is right and when wrong is wrong, when A is A and when B is B, notwithstanding who is doing what or who believes in whichever political party, when we just say, hey, let's have rules that works. Let's have a society that is balanced, because that's what we want, right? That's what we want. Now, moving forward, this is like a family life, interesting message that was sent by Shadaya. Very interesting, but I want to read it because there's so many strong points here. Some people are becoming emotional. They don't know how to converse properly. There's no need for you to be emotional. I saw people getting angry and all, but let me read it out. So he said, broke women are not submissive. Okay, broke women are submissive. Lord, I don't know if I'm not a successful woman, but I'm not a broke woman either. You know. So he said, a recent post encouraging men to avoid women from poor backgrounds causes a ruckus. Obviously, the women, majority of them fitting the description, were in a fit of rage. But disappointingly, some men too were angry too. They wrote essays defending their poverty, wretched girlfriends and wives, with their main point being women from poor backgrounds are submissive. This is BS. Submission should come from a place of power, not weakness. Many men confuse the descendancy of their poverty-stricken girlfriends and wives as submission. This is no different from a woman who confuses the desperation of his poverty-stricken boyfriend or husband as loyalty. If that said woman came from a financially stable family and she wasn't dependent on you, do you think she would be submissive? That is the true test of a woman's submission, when she doesn't depend on your resources for her survival. Many foolish men get a harsh reality awakening when they move abroad, USA or UK, with their women. In such developed countries, a woman can survive and even thrive without a man in her life. She no longer has to pretend to be more submissive. She becomes her true self. That is how these foolish men end up crying on a hide ID. My wife just changed ever since we moved abroad. You big fool. She never changed. She was just in a poverty-induced docility, which is why it's stupid to use poverty as a qualifying term on what makes a good wife. Leave these poor women alone to face their battles with their own poor families. Learn or perish. But you know, okay. It's just a wedding. Like I told you, Shade is very, I think he's got a gift. He's got a gift of wisdom, but his wisdom is simply like, grace. Because he punches, he doesn't speak like I do, like, a bit solo, like trying to be nice. He punches, and then because he punches and people freak out, or the guys were like, yes, you're right, the God, you know what I mean? I know I know young boys, what they do on social media. Oh, the God is spoken, yeah, hail in sir, hail. Incredible. He's an incredible guy. I mean, he's blessed with what he does, but I think it just lacks a bit of grace to convey the message with so much respect and authenticity. But here is my comment on it. He has got so much powerful points that he raised, very strong points. When I was growing up, my mom was an interesting. I came from a family of 8, so we had 2 boys and 6 girls. Okay, so that can show you that my father needs a lot of mommy. You know, we are 6 girls and 2 boys. Okay, so because I come from such a very powerful, traditional home, my mom was very strict when it comes to the issue of saying, a woman, you must work and you have your own money. My mom could preach that day in, day night. You tell me, my baby, you're going to have your own money. And, and I started working when I was 16 years old, So working for me is like, I was like a walk in the park, you know what I mean? I started touching money when I was young. So I know money very, very well, So I've always been an advocate of saying to young girls, it's not about a man that matters. It's about your purpose. Stop confusing. Get to meet someone and you live life with them. And your God-given purpose. Your God-given purpose is not marriage. Marriage is simply a phase of your life, but it's not your purpose. So I see most of young girls are so obsessed with, I want to be married. Fair play, it's a good deal that you have a desire to be married. But it's not purpose, girl. You better have to have something to do in your own life. All right? Because what it does is that, what purpose does that it keeps you, it kind of hijacking your brain from having to have entitlement. Because majority of women struggle with entitlement when they marry someone. It's like you want that person to stop breathing. It's all about you want this, you want that. Even when he can't afford you, you're pushing and he feels angry with your pushes. So I always encourage young girls to say, listen, girl, you have a purpose. You are called for a purpose before you meet a man in your life. So when you meet him, you now start to look at your purpose and his purpose. You make the two align. If you need to make adjustments, fair play, you have to. But you don't need to follow a person every time and call for salt. Like there's no salt in the house, there's no sugar. No, not in 2024. You must be able to go to the shop, buy your groceries and cook dinner. Let this man come home and eat. When he's full, you're going to have to massage his feet while you ask for the money. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? Massage his feet and you're like, baby, you know what? You give me allowance. But if you're phoning me every time and telling me about money, he's going to freak out. That's not wisdom. So I'm teaching you to say, girls, young people, Zimbabwean girls from university, listen to your CCC. You must understand that you're called for a purpose. Notwithstanding who you marry, no matter how much money he has, do something that you love. And make sure that at least you're able to to just kind of align with whatever he's doing, but you must be doing something. If it's cooking, girl, in 2024 you can make money by just cooking. If it's sewing, whatever you love to do, it doesn't have to be much. If you're like me, who doesn't like to be employed, who doesn't want to be bullied around, then you know what, you're gonna have to just do what you love. Make sure you monetize whatever gift that you have. But this issue of saying, hey, I just want to be married. No, marriage is a journey. It's a journey of 2 people. It's not, there's nothing magic about it that maybe it's going to just give you this life. No, relax. I understand that in our community, especially the Zimbabwean community, people, are very much marriage oriented, and people are going to ask, like, Vanarumbi, I'm 41. I'm sure people are saying that this girl may be cursed, They think she's cursed. No, I'm not cursed. I'm very much in the will of God. I'm very much in the will of God. I serve the God of speed, so relax. I'm very much in God's will. Yes, I know what I'm doing, so don't worry. It's the society that can push, but it's what you want for yourself, right? Right. Honestly, I keep on telling men, do not marry a woman who don't know her purpose. Don't do that. Because you're going to spend your time fighting for her, getting to find her purpose, and you and your busy life, and then there's going to be fight. It's important for children from the age of 15 upwards. Actually, research says that if you check your child between the age of 9 and 10, you'll be able to pick up your child's gifts, and then you will nurture that gift. So that 11, 12, 15, they are monetizing their gifts. Look at America. Young kids are successful because they've understood the power of your gift, of nurturing gifts. Stop waiting for a job. Just because you go to university doesn't mean that you need to be employed. Sometimes all you need to do is to create your own career. You start from humble beginnings, small little things, start right there. We have been there too, right? Start right there. That's what life is about. But just don't wait. I want to wait for marriage. No, life is not all about marriage. As a matter of fact, marriage with no money can be challenging. Because I, as a single person, when I'm broke, I'm feeling like sick. So I can only imagine when you're married, both y'all, you're like head on and dude, we are broke here. So I encourage girls to say, touch your own money, right? So that when you see a man says, I'm taking out for dinner, you put 500 rand, you're not going to shake. Oh. When he buys you, my mom used to say, take yourself to any restaurant in town, so that at least, when a man takes you out, you're not going to shake. Oh, no, he takes me too. Some people, you take them to KFC, they go wild. You know why? Because they never have access to that lifestyle. I'm here on this point here, trying to speak to ZANU-PF to stop the abuse because I want Zimbabwe to change. I want people in the rural areas to have access to anything. I want to see Louis Vuitton, DG, Chanel in Mashingo, in Kwekwe, in any city because Zimbabwe is successful. Why not we own the gold, we own all the minerals? Why would we take our minerals to America when we know that our people want to live a better life? So my teaching is very simple. Young people, find your purpose. Don't rush because let me tell you, marriage is not for the faint-hearted. It's not a walk in the park. It's a real deal life, y'all. It's a real life. That comes with challenges like anything. As a single person here, I face a lot of challenges at the age of 41. If I tell you, you're going to cry some of them. But trust me, I'm still here. So imagine if I was married, there was nothing that can sanitize challenges in life because of marriage. Marriage does not sanitize challenges. Life is made of challenges because that's what makes you strong. And God allowed it to happen that way. That's why you need to be empowered first from your mom's house. Before you leave your mom and your daddy's house, you are empowered with so much knowledge and wisdom. Not just saying, nah, we're just going to be walking in the park and be eating ice cream. No, life doesn't work like that. It doesn't. A man can have all the money never to give you a cent. There are women who are going through that for your own information. You know why? Because he knows that you don't have a clue of what you're doing. I have someone that I knew who got married to a very successful man. Yeah, this out to me, and this is going to benefit both male and female. Because she'd never have access to money. She was coming from a very humble background. Do you know what? The man gave a card and said, baby, so that you can buy whatever you want. And I don't want you don't have to call me, I'm going to be busy. But then he started seeing them, if your card is connected to your phone, right? This woman was shopping. You just see messages. He took his card back. You know why? Because she didn't understand. It was not her fault because she was never exposed to money. She didn't know how to balance. She didn't know how to say, no, it's not about just shopping. It's about building a future together. But because you have never been exposed, that's why I can still speak on the tower to say, I can't wait to just help young girls in Zimbabwe. That's why I want ZANU-PF to go because they're actually blocking me to do what I need to do. Because young people need to understand that they have purpose. They were called for something. It's not just going around selling your body. That is nonsense. You must work. So just drinking alcohol and be busy binging, you must work. You have a purpose. And if you want a good life, you work for it. It just doesn't come and rain on you. You work for a good life. So he's right. If you're a successful guy, you need to be someone who's able to understand money and understand life. Because there are people, I can tell you, I've seen women who could break a kitchen. A man who buy a beautiful house and you get in the kitchen is broken in 2-3 months. You know why? Because she doesn't have a clue. She can't clean. Mops are everywhere. Ever seen where you get in a house and the mop is somewhere? She can't clean. You know why? Because she's not exposed to that lifestyle. So I'm always saying, if you want to marry and have peace, you must marry someone who aligns with your destiny. It's about where are we going. It's not about, is she from poor or whatever. That is nonsense. That on its own is marrying someone for wrong reasons. You don't marry a person because she's come from a poor family. You marry someone because the person is for your destiny. You were called to be with this person. It's an issue of destiny aligning. Going somewhere. Where are we both going? That's why most marriage is collapsing. It's because people are marrying for wrong reasons. Or your father is a pastor. Just because their father is a pastor doesn't mean that she's a pastor or she's a good woman. It means nothing. You must ask questions. Talk to a person. Even a woman too. Get to know a man. Don't spend your time believing in all the lies that you hear. Do your research. See the parents, the mom and the daddy. What are they believing in? Who are they? Is the family violent? Do they know peace? Do they know how to love? How do they know how to share? Do your research. Then just say, oh my God, he loves me, I love him. Love is not enough. It's not, love is not, love is not a narrative word. Love is how a person treats you. It's action. You check how the person treats you. Right? And then you see, can I be able to be with this person? Yes or no? You know, it's that simple. So he's right. Don't marry people for wrong reasons. Just coming from a poor family. And I'm also still thinking that if you know that this woman, someone may come from very, humble beginnings. But trust me, there are people you can see their potential. Because this person is going somewhere. That's why it always, it scares me a lot. When I see a man in his 40s, get me right here. In his 40s, we're just roaming around. That, to me, it's scary. You know why? No, not in your 40s. No, you can't. In your 40s and you're still roaming around with no direction. No, something's wrong. You now need spiritual cleansing. You need to be delivered. That's a demon. In your 40s and still roaming around with almost every woman on the street, no direction, no plan for the future, something is wrong. You need the divine, divine cleansing. You need a prayer. You need to be rescued. Something is shackling you, and you must have direction. Be a person who has boundaries. But like I've always been really clear here on my channel, one thing that ruins a lot of men's lives, and I'm going to say this now in 2024, women as well, is sleeping around. Do not sleep around with everyone that you meet on the street. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your journey and for your destiny. Because the people you're meeting on the street, you don't know where they're coming from. One woman you meet have met a million men, and million men who have met a million women, and million who have met. So it's an intersection. But at the end of the day, some people you're meeting are on a mission to take away your gifts. So please beware. Beware. I don't say I didn't warn you, beware. One thing I'll tell you facts, right, that I don't normally talk about. If I was sleeping with every man I'm meeting on the street, I was not going to be sitting and talking to you here. It can't work like that, because you know why? The devil won't let me. I want to be able to confront his own people the way that I do. The devil won't let me. You have to live a certain lifestyle to be able to stand and confront the devil himself. Because what we're dealing with is Satan here. But you can't be in his camp and want to confront him. He's going to tell you, hold on. You are in my bed. You are eating my food. You're doing my work. So you can't. You can't be in the camp of the devil and still be able to confront him. It's not possible. You have to live a certain kind of lifestyle to be able to say, head on, devil, I can see you. Right? I can see you. So I'm encouraging you, brothers and sisters, do not sleep with everyone that you meet on the street. It's not good for your soul, for your destiny, for your body, and for your mental health. Some of you have run down your children because you just met a deranged human being on the street, a woman who is on a mission from a satanic kingdom, and today your kids are sick. Your marriage is in tatters. Listen to me. It's dangerous for your soul. It's dangerous for your families. It's not good for your children. It's not good for your... It's the worst any human being can ever do. I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm just a messenger to tell you what can help you to be better people. Those families, you see successful Vanamasiwas families, you can't just have that family. It takes sacrifice to be able to be a good daddy, to raise children, to build businesses. It takes discipline. It takes boundaries, respect of self. I'm too smarter than this. I can't. I'm better than this. No. I'm a man of classy. I respect my wife. I respect my kids. I respect my family. You understand what I'm saying? To the single girls here, if you're here, young people, from Zimbabwe. I've seen Zimbabwe's got actually people, the percentage that is higher for people who've used my channel as people from Zimbabwe. That's why I always want to hammer on that, because I know young girls what they're doing there. Hear me out. If you meet a man who tells you that, oh, but I can never buy a cow that I never tested, I never drink the milk, and I'll never marry her because I know I need to firstly test her. Because let me tell you, those are just weapons of the wicked. It's a lie. A real, genuine, authentic man who sent for you, he will respect you and marry you. They're just fooling you. They're just playing you dirty, playing with your mind. Do not. If he genuinely loves you, he'll marry you. If he says that is the reason, let him go. He's not for you. A man for you, he will respect you, your parents, and do the right thing. If he doesn't want to do it, he's just not for you. Let him go. Someone better than him will come. Whenever I look back and I'm like, I'm glad that I did not marry these people. They were not my type. You will know with time. Be it a woman or a man. If you say a person, a woman who doesn't walk right, don't let it pass. There are so many good women out there. If you meet a man who doesn't walk right, let it pass. There are so many good men out there who genuinely want to marry people, and they will do it right. This issue, everybody you meet, they come with all this reverse psychology, playing with your mind. Let it pass. A better man than that man is coming. And the very same man will see you tomorrow with a good man. Everything firing and your life is glorious. He's going to feel jealous. I wish I could have married that person. No, because you didn't know how to identify a good wife. Good wife is not immorality, brothers and sisters. Good husband is not an immoral man. An immoral man can't build a home. He doesn't have capacity. You heard me? That's why majority of them are still seen with just being immoral. They can't do it because a home is not being built by immoral people. You can't be a husband and a wife when you're immoral. You can't build a home. Most of those marriages are collapsing because it's a covenant, it's a ministry, and it's godly ordained. It can only be built on a platform of godly principles. Otherwise, there's no marriage that stands on a platform of toxicity. It doesn't work. Else, you're going to kill each other, or you're both going to die of high blood pressure or die of stroke because there's toxicity. Hey, life is to be enjoyed, not endured. You must enjoy your life. Not every day's fights unnecessarily. You need to check yourself out and resolve issues. So you don't marry for is that you poor, you marry someone who's destined for you. You're going to the same direction. That's why communication is vital. I love you all. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. You must sleep tight. I'll see you tomorrow, please. Love each other and share some love and share the video with everyone else. We must all have a conversation. Bye for now.